The weekend ending May 26, 2024 was quite a busy and victorious one for the valiant fighters of the Burkina Defense Forces, who with the help of their lethal combat drones, missiles, ground troops and attack helicopters, neutralized dozens of terrorists and captured dozens more, in an operation that thwarted impending terror attacks in the country's northern parts. The operation was commenced on the Friday of May 24, when the Burkina-based skyfighters were alerted of a major attack on terrorists at Sabunga in Mali near its border with Burkina Faso, with a possibility of terrorists seeking to escape to Burkina soil, to also launch an attack there. In response, the Burkina vectors were quickly deployed to survey the area, and upon reaching the village where the terrorists were planning to carry out an attack, they noticed several hundred motorcycles approaching the village. As you may have noticed here, through the lens of the drone, the criminals on motorcycles appeared like tiny bedbugs scavenging for human blood, giving quite a scary impression of how things were developing on the ground. Without hesitation, the air vectors saw it appropriate to first scare them and chase them away from the village, to prevent them from launching their planned attack on the villages. And thus, a small missile was fired at the village to force the criminals to leave the village without causing any harm to the villages. As expected, the criminals moved into panic mode, and as confused as they appeared here, they started looking for ways to escape the village, and oblivious to them, that was exactly what the Burkina forces had wanted to do, because that's when the hunt then begun. At this stage, several specific drone tests and attacks were carried out on the criminals as they fled for their lives, as other vectors specialized in tracking took over. Then on May 25, an aerial survey made it possible to discover some of the terrorists who had gone in large numbers to an area near Boundor town with intention to launch an attack. They had gathered under thick trees, but under the watchful eyes of skyfighters, they were not as safe as they thought. They were immediately locked and hit effectively, with the strike burning their means on the spot. And on the Sunday of May 26, terrorists on motorcycles were observed to be regrouping 25 kilometers east of Pisila town, possibly to plan an attack or their escape. They had regrouped under thick tree with hopes to camouflage and hide from the sharp eyes of the aerial vectors, but there was no escape route for them to that far. They were easily identified and struck by the air vectors, with the strike brightly burning their logistical means and neutralizing some of them. Still on that May 26, another set of criminals had gathered under large trees in the north center, and were silently observed converging in large numbers towards their temporary assembly point. Very quickly, an operation was mounted with the Special Forces units, and then at the right moment, a missile was sent to greet them under the trees. The quickest, and those who heard the lightning descend of the missile on them tried to flee, but a majority of them already had their fate sealed, and they couldn't escape a date with the Maker. Attack helicopters would then take over immediately, and other helicopters dropped off the Army's special forces for them to deal with the survivors and destroy or collect their logistical means. and at around 5:40 p.m. on the same day, the air vectors were again alerted of an attack in Zamboanga area, and very quickly, they responded, with one of them spotting the column of criminals in the process of retreating, with the ground force unit Cheetah on their heels. A coordination that was made with the unit, by support of the aerial vectors, launched an attack at the head of the column, and then another strike would follow. The Cheetah and Ghosts units that were now close to the columns would then move into action after this strike, and engage the survivors in a fierce battle. At the end, several terrorists were neutralized and others taken prisoner, with their combat material being recovered.
On June 6, 2024, the 41st and 42nd Regiments of Burkina Faso Commandos, RIC, supported by the elite 9th Rapid Intervention Battalion, struck a significant blow against terrorist forces near the border with Mali. However, this marked just the beginning of a larger unfolding operation aimed at securing the borders and thwarting further terrorist incursions. The 41st and 42nd Burkinabe Commandos, renowned for their combat prowess, spearheaded the operation. They were complemented by the swift and decisive actions of the 9th Rapid Intervention Battalion, whose expertise in rapid deployment and high-intensity engagements proved invaluable. During the assault, the Burkina Faso Armed Forces successfully neutralized several terrorists entrenched in fortified positions. The recovery of substantial war equipment, including weapons, ammunition, and communication devices, dealt a severe blow to the operational capabilities of the terrorists. Shortly after the initial victory, intelligence reports surfaced indicating the movement of hundreds of terrorists towards the border with Ghana. The border region between northwest Ghana and Burkina Faso, already a focal point for security concerns, became the center of a heightened alert. Responding with unparalleled urgency, the Burkina Faso Air Force launched a series of aerial operations to track and intercept the advancing terrorist groups. On June 7th, leveraging the capabilities of the newly acquired Akinci drones, the Air Force maintained relentless surveillance over the terrorists' movements. These advanced drones provided real-time intelligence and situational awareness, proving instrumental in coordinating ground operations. The dense and challenging terrain of Mohon posed significant obstacles, but forces, guided by precise intelligence from the Akinci drones, executed the operation with surgical precision. As the terrorists moved through the forest, forces lay in wait, utilizing natural cover and tactical positioning. The terrorist group, composed of motorcyclists with a pickup vehicle trailing behind, was identified as a significant threat. The criminal column made a critical error by attempting to camouflage under a large tree. The continuous aerial surveillance ensured that their movements were tracked without interruption. As the motorcycles paused, the ambush was launched with devastating effect, resulting in the neutralization of numerous terrorists and further recovery of war materiel. The successful interception disrupted the terrorists' plans and significantly diminished their strength. The initial strike was highly effective, scattering the criminals. Despite the chaos, some motorcyclists managed to escape the immediate assault. However, the Skyfighters, demonstrating relentless pursuit, tracked these escapees and taking them out with a targeted strike. This decisive action prevented any potential regrouping or retaliation. The atmosphere in the region capital city, Bobo Dioulasso, was electric with excitement and anticipation as President Ibrahim Traoré made a highly anticipated visit to meet his fighters at the front line. This marked a significant moment for the region, underscoring the president's commitment to the ongoing struggle and the solidarity with his troops. The streets were lined with enthusiastic residents, waving flags and chanting in support of their leader. The president's convoy, heavily guarded and surrounded by a mix of local security forces and military personnel, moved through the main avenues of the city, greeted by crowds that had gathered from early morning to catch a glimpse of the leader. President Traoré's arrival came at a crucial time, as his administration has been actively engaged in addressing security challenges in the region. His decision to visit the front line was seen as a morale-boosting gesture, reaffirming his dedication to the cause and his readiness to be with his fighters in their most challenging moments. In a stirring speech delivered to the assembled troops and local volunteers, President Traoré expressed deep gratitude for their unwavering courage and commitment. Hello, I am very happy to see you improving your knowledge. It is very good that you are making progress. I am very happy. Your predecessors are already doing remarkable work in the field. We pay tribute to them and salute them. Since this crisis began, have not had access to certain equipment.
La police n'a pas pu avoir accès à un certain nombre d'équipements. Et je pense qu'aujourd'hui c'est différent.
Today the situation is different. A year ago, 10 units were fully equipped as individual and autonomous teams. These weapons that you have long desired are now available.
Je pense que des efforts sont faits. Vous avez ça. On doit cela aussi à notre population qui a compris et qui accepte de contribuer.
The operations near the Mali border and the subsequent ambush in the Mohon Deep Forest have significantly weakened the terrorist threat. However, the evolving security landscape requires continuous vigilance and cooperation between Burkina Faso and Ghana. As the situation develops, the combined efforts of military forces, local communities, and international partners remain crucial in securing the region and ensuring peace and stability for the people of Burkina Faso and Ghana. Efforts are being made, and we owe that to our population who understands and accepts the need to contribute. That is why we are asking for even more sacrifices so that we can better equip you. Today you are not operating alone. In the heavens you have your guardian angels who follow you. Do not be afraid. Commit to learning everything that you need to learn. Do not put down your arms. The fight against terrorism is far from over, but with each successful operation, we move closer to a safer and more secure future.
If you like the work I have been doing, kindly like my video, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.